Welcome, everybody. We're thrilled to have our director buddy, Brenda Howell, the famous Brenda Howell, on the call with us tonight. And Brenda, how long have you been in Mary Kay?
Oh, do I really have to tell?
Well, I think it's been longer than me. I've been in for almost 34.
It will be 30 years in February.
Really? I thought you'd been in longer than me.
Nope, I joined in 92.
Okay.
I joined February 14th, 1992. And I was like, what the heck was I signed up for Mary Kay on Valentine's Day?
Why weren't you on a date with Timmy?
Do what?
You'll always remember that date.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and then I realized, that was back in the day when it had to go snail mail. So I really probably signed up the week before, but they got the agreement on the 14th. So I didn't want to make myself look like, y'all, what did she do on Valentine's Day? I really do nothing, but I have to make it look glamorous on Facebook. Like my husband takes me out and, does all the foo-foo-y stuff that we don't really do.
You started a business. That's great.
There we go.
Well, we were really lucky. Those of us that went to French Lick, and Kathy and Teresa and I were walking to where we were supposed to be in class, and Brenda was coming out from teaching a class, and we ended up having the best class of all, just standing there in the hallway talking to Brenda. So sometimes I think things happen the way they're supposed to, right? And so Brenda, we always start with just a really quick prayer. So I'm going to just do that. I'm reaching through the screen to everybody. Lord, be with all of us. Thank you so much for Brenda and her experience, what she's going to share with us tonight. I just pray that we have an open mind and then we put it into practice, because if we just listen and do nothing with it, we've only been entertained. So help us use what she's going to share with us tonight to make our businesses even better. In Jesus' name, amen. So
you better say amen.
Amen.
Hold on just 1 second. Hurry. Grandmother has started a live and they have just busted through my door. I'm on a live. Yes, my son. Let me show the last one. Did you all see this? Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at this. Oh my gosh, I love them. Oh,
I bet you're just the best mama ever, too.
I bet you're just hysterical.
They just busted the door. I love you. They busted my door. And I always say, oh my gosh, they're here. How about they're here? So they think they're worth $1 million. They are to me. Anyway, okay.
Well, Brenda, we're going to turn it over to you then. And we've got you on record. So give us just a couple minutes of your story and then dive right in, okay?
All righty. Well, as she said, I am Brenda Howell. So y'all will never forget me. I actually started my Mary Kay business in 1992 when my boys were 2 and 4. I complained to my husband all the time that I didn't have enough time for the boys because I worked a full-time job. And Tim worked a different shift than me. So he kept the kids in the day. I kept the kids in the evening. So we passed each other on the road. We only got to see each other on the weekends. And so I complained all the time that and I'm sure I cried a lot, that I didn't have enough time for them. And then I get hooked up with this Mary Kay thing, which I'm going to tell you completely that this was God breathed. Because for one thing, okay, so I was introduced to Mary Kay through Tim's cousin. I was at Walmart trying to find some makeup. Now I wore this brand and that brand, and my skin was extremely dry. So I was just using everything. I could seriously use a jar of cream. I don't have one in front of me, but I could use a jar of cream in a week. That's how dry my skin was. And so I was trying to buy some different foundation, and Tim's cousin happened to be in Walmart when, because we don't have a mall here in London, Kentucky. And so we have Walmart. We don't even have Kmart anymore. But so I was looking for foundation because I really and truly, when you're dry skin, you just can't stand anything heavy on your skin. And I also hated smells. Okay. So I went, she said, hey, my friend sells, my friend Pam Stanford sells Mary Kay. And I'd never heard of Mary Kay. And she said, she works down at London Gold, go down there and tell her you want some. So I went, and this, if y'all can remember that, what they call the pancake makeup. So I bought the pancake makeup and I took it home and I put it on. And honestly, it was so thick. I wore another brand and I don't want to name that brand because we don't want to put other people's stuff down, but I didn't like it because it was too thick. It was a pancake, but it was just too thick. And so I bought the foundation from her. It was $10.60. And so at that point, we lived check to check, my husband and I did. So she said, you can return it if you don't like it. And so I brought it home. I used it. And honestly, I hated it because it was so thick on my face. So I went to, oh, I'm so distracted. Oh my God, I gotta let you see this. Turn around, that's Mama's living room. You know what that is. Actually, it's Mama's.
Oh, yeah.
That is Mama haunting her office. Say hi, guys. See everybody? Say hi. Okay, you gotta go back in there and be really quiet. Okay, so you just let the go get him. He's like, Mama, what's that? So backdrops are great, you guys. Oh, lock it. Thanks.
Lock it.
So you all will never ask me back. I'm so sorry. This is a
No,
lot gone
You're
bad.
being real. You're being who you are, and I love it. That's who you are.
So anyway, yeah, you guys, these are awesome. Y'all thought I had this beautiful clean living room, didn't you? Anyway, back to business. So that's why you thought, why the heck do you say my office looks like yours? Okay, so going back
You hated the
to, I
makeup.
bought the
You hated it.
foundation and I didn't like it. I took it back. So embarrassing. Okay, where is his father? This is awful. Sorry.
It's all
So,
okay.
Okay.
okay. Anyway, so I took it back. But here's the thing I want y'all to hear about that story. Not because I was cheap and wanted my $10 back. Is she said, why don't you take these cleansers home? Because I said that my face was just too dry. And she gave me her demo bottles and sent me home with the skincare. And I tried it and I completely fell in love with it. Then I couldn't afford it. And she said the magic words if you could earn it for free. And so she asked me to have some friends over. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that would be great. So I had a party. I got it for free. And the next thing she did was she called me after I had my party because I earned that and I earned free brushes. And so I was in love with Mary Kay, but I truly did love the product because I'd never used anything that felt so great on my skin. So then she said, you're my high hostess. Why don't you come to this event? Because they're giving a trip away to Gatlinburg. I'd never been to Gatlinburg and I didn't know what it was, but I thought if it's a free trip and I could earn it, I want to win it. And so she said, would you come to that? And then she said, I'm not going to be there, but there'll be somebody there that'll take care of you. Now you guys have to know I am the biggest I off the chart, but I'm also the biggest S off the chart. So seriously, on the DISC, I'm like right here. So to go to that sounded great because I could win this trip for my family, but I just didn't want people. I don't go anywhere where I don't know people, but I went. So that's why I said, Tim actually dropped me off. I'm like, drop me off, then come back and get me. But I went. And when I walked in, Linda made me feel so important. Like she didn't even know me and she hugged me. So Linda Tupin did this event and this was back before she was a national, you know, I ain't gonna say before she was anybody, but anyway, but I seriously, I walked in and I want y'all to understand how important it is that how we make people feel, because she was like, she hugged me and she was like, welcome, I've heard all about you. And that day I heard her talking about money. And I thought, oh my gosh, if what these women in this room have, I want whatever it is. And I didn't know what it was, but I knew that they all seemed to like each other and they was having a good time and they made money. And that's all I needed to hear. And so I joined Mary Kay a year later. And so, because I thought my niece needed the money more than me, so I talked her into doing it. And then I joined in 92, and then I became a sales director in October of 93. So we earned a car in a year. I was a turtle, so I was a slow mover. It took me a year and 3 months to earn my first car. And then I got a little faster. So within that year, we earned our pink Cadillac. So, and then our first full year as a director, we did 500,000. And then the next year was 500,000, 550, whatever that number is. And then the next year we did the trip. And so it goes. We've been up and down on the scoreboard. And so we've earned 5 top director trips. And we have our highest year has been 689,000. And we've earned 15 cars, 14 of them being pink Cadillacs. And I say all of that to tell you that I truly think I did a lot of hard stuff. I'm sure Teresa and Susan can tell you, we did a lot of hard things that we probably, if we'd have done it as smart instead of hard, you probably can agree that, and one of them being, oh my God, I'm caught in my shirt now. One of them being, let me get this. I was going to look fancy for you all, but I'm getting hung up in my shirt. Gosh, you all had never asked me back.
Just so you know, I've always done everything smart, so don't throw me in that group.
Okay, I won't. But yeah, so this is like skincare classes for me. This meeting, this is what happens to me in skincare classes. If it can happen, it happens to me. Don't have time for all those stories, but so if I could go back and redo a lot of things, what I'm going to tell you all about tonight would be the biggest thing that I would do, because in the beginning and for the first 20 years, so I told you, I guess I am a turtle still, but I would go, I was the queen of hosting parties, or holding parties. I would drive 2 hours to do a party, and then it would be 2 hours back. And then I would have to work the next morning and with 2 babies. So I've kind of done this every way there is to do Mary Kay. And it's not been easy, but honestly, the hardest part was I just felt like there wasn't enough of me to go around, because seriously, I would work my job, but I would do Mary Kay in the evening, and it was like I could be dead dog tired when I walked out of my job. But when I started Mary Kay, it was like I put my beauty coat on and I spun around and I was Wonder Woman, and it's like I got a whole new life. And so I would go to those parties, and seriously, now my parties were a little long, and it might be 1 in the morning before I would get home, especially because I had a 2-hour drive, and then I would have to get back up in the morning. So I'm just saying, so I work really hard getting bookings and getting parties and holding parties that I didn't keep up with the customers that I was getting. Does that sound like anybody? Like, we work really hard to get parties and new customers, but y'all know it costs more money to get a new customer as it does to keep a customer. And why I say that is because we have to give a lot of stuff away to get somebody to host a party, and y'all know it's this vicious cycle. So the one thing I would have done different is this 40 customer notebook. Now, I am a hard copy girl, okay? I am not a big technology girl, okay? I have it. If there's stuff that, if it's not in front of me, I forget it, okay? So what I'm going to be talking to you about is having your customers in front of you where they never leave you. Never leave your sight, so to speak, okay? So if I could teach you how, if you could build 40 customers in this little system, I promise you, if you do this, it will work. Now, that is building 40 customers, buying 26 items. And the great thing about this little system that I have is you could take a woman working in corporate America that is working 50 and 60 hours a week. In all honesty, she could start a Mary Kay business and build 40 customers. And the system that I'm teaching you is she could do this and be in the National Court of Sales while working a full-time job, 50 or 60 hours a week, because the whole thing with this, building 40 customers, could potentially, I guess I have to start learning to use these words of potentially, the legal words, it could lead you to X amount of dollars. Am I allowed to talk about money?
Yes, we're not going to send this to the legal department.
Okay. Could lead you to like $16,000 to $20,000. Okay. So, and that's them just buying the basic little items. So you guys, I sent this to Susan today. Okay. And she will print this for you, or send it to you for you to print. Here's what's exciting about this. This was all these 26 items are what I use at a facial. Okay. So, and you're thinking, dear Lord, no wonder your classes were 4 hours. But seriously, here's what I count in my 40 items. One thing is a set of brushes. Okay. It's 8 skincare items, which is your skincare set, cleanser, moisturizer, oil-free eye makeup remover, brushes, foundation, mineral powder. Because honestly, I don't, and again, you all do what your directors train you to do, but I'm the director that says, when you got somebody in your presence and you're facialing her, give her all of it, because you might not get the chance to give her what is it? You don't get a second chance for a good impression. Well, you might not get a second chance for a second appointment. So I'm going to give her as much as I can. And honestly, I do the works. I do skincare, microdermabrasion, from foundation, primer, foundation. And it's just these, and I can do this in 45 minutes. Really, I do a facial in an hour, but I talk a lot. So, but all this doesn't really take you, when you're instructing her through, it really wouldn't take you more than 45 minutes. And that's giving her a foundation matching, a mineral powder matching, eyeshadow look, that. Now, as far as highlighter and that's not included in this, but so these 26 items are just the basic things that you would use at a facial. Now, and it also, the good thing is it's not, so selling these 26 items to one customer is $1,000. So 40 customers is $40,000 a year in sales. Okay. Now I say it profits you to 16 to 20,000, because you're probably going to spend some money on her, like giving her coupons, discounts on some things to get her on these 26 items. Okay. Now there's going to be a notebook that you're going to start. And I do have YouTube. I have YouTube channel, a channel that's got these videos that I've broken this down, because I know we're not going to have a lot of time to cover everything that we need to. But honestly, I don't care to come back as many times as y'all need me to. You know, if you need me next week and the week after, I will come. I don't mind at all.
You're getting lots of applause. People want you back.
So I will come, and because I invited my girls, I don't know if anybody's on here tonight, but if they are, I invited them on here. And so anyway, so 26 items is all it is. And the neat thing is I printed you, well, I've got for you to print. There's a little booklet when you do your notebook. Okay, so you're going to have a notebook. When you purchase these, honestly, if you can find these flimsy ones like this, so they're not hard, you'll carry this with you everywhere you go. Like if you go to a doctor's appointment, just stick it in your car, because you could do some work, and because this notebook's going to have everything in it that you need. Really, I call it my working calendar. Okay. Speaking of calendar, I needed that to show y'all. But anywho, oh yeah, here it is. So you are going to need, I do have a day, like at a glance calendar. Okay. So I have this kind of calendar, but as you can see, even though it's a big calendar, you can't write much that happens in your day in this date book. Okay. So does this make sense? Because this has to make sense. So this is my at a glance. So when I'm scheduling appointments, I'm not the person that can do that day-to-day thing, except this calendar. Oh my gosh, I gotta move everything here just to show you. So this, I call it my working calendar. All right. And if you can see here, I bought the monthly tabs for November, December, January, blah, blah, blah. And then I bought some sets of daily. So this is why I say this is a working calendar. So I know I'm jumping all over the place. That's why I say, if y'all have me back, then I can start to answer your questions when things don't make a lick of sense. Do y'all know what lick of sense means? Okay. So now I'm going to get, let me just walk you through as, let's pretend I did a facial today. Okay. So I did a facial on somebody. What happened before I come up with this system is I would call her the next day to check on the products and see how the products were going with her. And so once this profile card got filed away, even though she was on PCP, she was out of my brain. Okay. Now, let me tell you this. I'm a great customer service girl. Like if you call me, you get your products today, even if you don't want it till Friday or whatever, it's on my brain until I get that delivered. So I'm not somebody that goes, oh my gosh, Teresa, I'm so sorry I forgot your order. Like I will write the ticket up and it lays on my desk, but it just makes me very antsy until I get it done because I want you to get your products in a timely fashion. So when I say I was not good at customer service, it was just once your card got filed away, you were on PCP, I just forgot to check back up with you. And unless you called me and I would say at the party, now you're going to hear from me again in 2 weeks, I wouldn't mean to lie. I would just forget you. Okay. So now what's going to happen is I am going to, so you made a purchase today and I'm going to tell you, even if she's just a mascara girl, put her on your list. Okay. Put her on the chart. That is not like in front of me. I have one made on like a 11 by 17 chart that you can print to fold over and put in your notebook. And that sounded great in theory, but then it was still, when this notebook was closed, I would still forget about them. Ta-da, but wait, I sound like the guy on TV, but wait, act now. And you,
Oops, did she freeze?
on my wall.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
So I had it blowed up. Now, since I've got this in front of me, okay, now here's what I did. I took those 26 items, so you don't have to worry about having this sheet in front of you all the time, because these 26 items is on this poster. Okay, now like on this poster, like cleanser, see how there's 2 boxes? Can you all see good? So it says cleanser, 2 boxes, 2 moisturizers, 2 microdermabrasions, 2-day no la la. Okay, like I think that's all free eye makeup remover. She needs to buy 3 of those a year. So for every block, if there's 1 block, that's all she has to buy in a year. Okay, so this helps me to know to track her on the 26 items and good customer service because she needs a reorder. Okay. Now we're going to get to that part in a few minutes. So I just took these 26 items and I put them on a poster where I could check off what she purchased from me. Okay. Have I lost anybody? Who's confused? Honestly, don't think anything is crazy because I know what I'm doing, but you all don't. So I may go a little crazy and not tell you everything. So here's what happens. I have this facial today. So I facialed Liz. Okay. And so Liz, when I come home, I'm going to have a courtesy call sheet that I'm going to fill out on Liz. All it is her name and her first date of purchase. And so today is the 9th. Okay, so I'm going to open up my daily calendar to the 10th. So I'm going to write up my daily or my courtesy call sheet. And for this time in the morning when I wake up, I know exactly what I have to do. Okay, I've got her profile courtesy call the debt 333 or the 222 minus 1 blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I call the next morning because I want to talk to her while things are fresh from last night. She loved the makeover. Okay, she loved the makeup. She remembers how it felt. There was things she may have come for that I told her about. So many things she forgot to buy them. Okay, so these are some of the questions I'm going to ask her, but I do the next morning call because I want to do it while everything is still fresh in her mind of how much she loved the product. So I'm going to do the call of, hey, Liz, this is Brenda. I was just checking up on you to see how was your the main thing I want to check on is like foundation, because that's the one thing if we don't get right, people think they don't like Mary Kay. Have y'all had that? It's like the craziest thing. If they don't like our foundation, they think they don't like anything. And we got how many? 100 different shades. So, so if we get that right, so I always say, because when they're in different lighting, it's looks totally different. So it may look good here or at her kitchen table, but when she got in her bathroom, it wasn't right. So I say, hey, what did you think about your foundation when you got home in your mirror? Was everything right? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm going to say, so then I'm going, if I didn't book her for a second appointment, I'm going to say, oh yeah, we didn't book your second appointment last night. So again, I want to get that booked. Okay. And so I'm going to be talking to her about that. So when she books her second appointment, then I want to turn it into a party. Okay. So, and then always at the first appointment, after she makes her purchase and she, whatever she buys, you have some of these coupons printed, not with my face on them, but instead of coupons, and you can do this, all you got to do is take a $10 bill, take a picture, put it over in Pic Collage and put your picture on it. And I do this for a reason, especially if I'm handing out a goodie bag and instead of them can't remember who gave them the goodie bag, like that girl that talks all the time, or, you know, that little shirt girl, she never shuts up and blah, blah, blah. They will have my picture. Okay. So they remember who gave it to them. And I do print it on cardstock. So they don't lose it. Okay. I don't want them to lose the $10. And instead of it being a coupon or a gift certificate or whatever, $10, if she throws that in the garbage, what do you see? You see money in your garbage can. Okay. So this is why, to me, if I see money, I'm like, woo, woohoo, I don't want to throw $10 away. So I say you get to use this. Now, you can type on them anything you want to. You can put at your second appointment. And now, if you'll notice, I have a start date and an expiration date. I was inspired by this from Kohl's. Okay. Kohl's Cash. This is called Mary Kay Cash. But Kohl's Cash expires, but you never know until you go to the store and then the coupon's expired and you wish they would have called you and told you. Okay. So I have a start date and an end date, and this all will make sense to you. Okay. So I've given her this. So in the morning when I'm talking to her, I'll say, hey, did you find your $10? Like, duh, did you find your $10 in your bag? Okay. So you get to spend that at your second appointment. So we need to make sure that we get your so I know we say wait 2 weeks after they've had their facial, but if she'll book her second appointment this week, she just had her facial Tuesday, it may be Thursday. I may book her or Monday of the next week, but I just do it. But I do make an expiration date on here of when it's going to expire. So I tell her about that, making sure that's next morning that she knows that's in there. And then, so in my date book, this is why I say I'm never going to lose her. So we book her checkup appointment, and her checkup appointment is going to be, let's just say it's going to be next week. Okay. So because I'm going to be seeing her again next week, I'm probably going to just keep this profile card. No, let's just, okay, forget that. So I'm going to make a courtesy call sheet on her. And then Friday, her parties are going to be on Tuesday. I will want to put this courtesy call sheet on Friday. Okay. So Friday, what do you think I'm going to do on Friday since her appointment's on Tuesday? I'm going to send her a reminder text. Okay. And say, can I call you? I need to get your guest list. So I want to go ahead and get her guest list like Friday. So I'm going to be pre-profiling her guests. And so we're going to do that on Friday. Or if she tells me to call her on Thursday, we've talked about that on Tuesday. So wherever she tells me is a good time to call back for her guest list, that's where I'm going to stick the courtesy call sheet. So if she says, call me Friday at 6, then on Friday in my notebook, I'm going to stick this courtesy call sheet. Okay. So then it's Friday. I've called her. I've got her list. Then I'm going to move her courtesy call sheet to Monday because her party is on Tuesday. And I'm going to make me some notes on here that says, text her to remind her about her party and get directions. Okay. So then I've done that. Then her party is Tuesday. Okay. So kind of the process starts all over. Does this sound like a lot? Everybody good? Everybody following me? Okay.
Brenda, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've got this Brenda K cash or whatever it is. Is this
Yeah.
in a goodie bag that you gave her at the party?
No, it'll be in her bag when she makes purchase.
Okay.
I don't give goodie bags at a party.
Okay. I
But
was
this
thinking goodie
goes when at the end, I take her money, I get her order. And so all of this is another training. But so what I would do is I would get her order. So like, you're in your private closing and you're like, oh my gosh, how did you like all this stuff? Wasn't it amazing? So which set did you want to start with tonight? It's the hardest thing. Shut up, let them talk. Okay. If people aren't talking, I get nervous. Like, oh my gosh, they must be bored. And so, then so she tells me what she wants. She buys, I take her money. And then the next thing I do is I get my date book and I'll say, okay, because I told you in there, all about your second appointment. What's a good day for us to book your second appointment? And as soon as the second appointment comes out my mouth, and I'm like, oh yeah, and here's $10 that you're going to get to use at your second appointment with me. So you're going to get $10 free at your second appointment. What day is good for you? So immediately she's got free money. And so I put that in her hand. And so that's what I do with that. And then I'll just put it in her bag of product or with her book or whatever we're doing.
And your expiration date, you give them how long to use that?
Usually today's the 9th. I just usually count out 10 days. I just put a date, 10 to 15 days. I usually don't let my Kohl's or Mary Kay cash go longer than 15 days. Okay. For example, say I am giving this in her, what was I doing with this one? So, okay, I'm giving her this. Maybe I gave her some samples. I just met her and I gave her a goodie bag. I will put, as I'm giving this out. So if I'm taking samples out to give today to her, to anybody, I'm going to put today's date, and then I'll put like 10 days after. And then I make myself a note because it may be somebody I don't even know. So I'll come home and make a note and stick in my calendar that I gave today. I gave Susan Finley a sample of whatever and a coupon that expired. So put your expiration dates, because this is another thing you in your date book, in your moving calendar, 40 customer notebook, is if you're gonna give coupons, you're gonna give samples, you got to know what you gave people, and you got to know when to follow back up. So if I'm giving samples, then I'm going to say, when do you think, these are hard words to say, do you think you could use these tonight? Okay. Well, when is a day that you can use them? Okay. Can you use them tonight or tomorrow? Because I'd really like to get your opinion. So if she says she'll use them tonight, then I'll say, can I call you tomorrow? Okay. Maybe she says, I can't tonight, but I'm going to on Thursday. So I'm going to make a note. It might just be a sticky note, but I'm going to put it on Thursday, the 11th. And I'll put, I gave Susan Kill some dry skin samples with a coupon. Okay. So when I call her, then what you're doing is, most people work better for a boss, because when they go to a job, their day's planned for them. So at some point, your day's going to be planned for you. Once you start doing this, you'll wake up to a full day's work, because everything's going to be planned out, because, things you've done 2 and 3 weeks or 2 months ago, you're going to wake up to, okay, it's this girl's, I was supposed to call her back in 2 months after we did all the preliminary stuff, 2 months, that when I wake up in 2 months, my day is planned. Does this make sense? So right now you might wake up, if y'all are not doing this full time, you might wake up and think, well, how could I ever do this full time? I wouldn't know what to do. Well, when you start and you wake up every day, you're going to start having courtesy call sheets of people who you call. Okay. Just like when I worked for the food distributor, there was certain accounts that I called, certain restaurants that I called on certain days because of when we made deliveries. So they had my itinerary for the day of everybody I was going to call. And that's exactly what you're creating. It's just right now, we don't keep up with nothing. I'm not saying you all are like that. But okay, so if you're not good at keeping up with stuff, honestly, raise your hand, because I may not even be needing to do this training. Okay.
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay. So here's the thing. So I facialed her. Now I've called her on Friday. I've got her guest list. I've pre-profiled her people. I'm going to move her call sheet over to Monday to send her a text to remind her that I'm coming on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I need directions. I try to always ask questions when I'm talking to people, so they have to answer me back. Does that make sense? Hey, I need to get directions. So she's going to have to give me directions. And everybody's still coming, right? Nobody's canceled, or I just want to make sure I bring enough mirrors and enough whatever that I will have, even if, yeah. So, okay. So then let's fast forward to Tuesday. We hold her party. I come home. I start the whole process over again. Now, even though she's already an existing customer, she probably bought new stuff last night. And I have to follow up, make sure she liked everything. So next day, and then I'm going to message her again or call her again in like a week. You need to, I don't even think waiting 2 weeks. When it comes to skincare, in about a week. So I'm going to move her over a few days, but I'll tell her, hey, now I'm going to check in with you again on, I'm going to check in next Thursday just to make sure you don't have any questions, make sure all the skincare is going good. So then I'm going to move her courtesy call sheet to Thursday. And then when we've done all that, then she wants to be called in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever she says. You just check again with her. Like, now, how often would you like for me to call you? Okay. I don't know. I think that might be on the profile card, but it might not be. Just in case, just know you're going to ask it on here. And so if she wants to be called every time we get new products or every 2 months, whatever she wants, then I'm going to move her call. So I'm on my, she's had her party and I followed up, and now it's time to move her if she wants to be called in 6 weeks. So I will say this calendar, you're going to need 2, because you're going to need 2 notebooks, just because one notebook, when you're working with it, is only about thick enough for about 3 months. Okay. because we work about 2 months in advance, right? So we call everybody typically within 2 months, and any events we're doing is usually 2 months out or whatever. So I have one notebook that's just, let me just kind of show you this as I tear up Jack here again. Let me find it. So pretty much this notebook is just a notebook that's where I just move the months that I really don't have a whole lot going on. Now, let's just say that there's something that we know next year, we already know when fall retreat is. Okay, we already got that date. Maybe you have a flyer. Then I would just come over here to October, and I would just maybe start putting some sticky notes on here, because I don't fill this up with daily thingies. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Because those things are pricey and you don't need that many. So anything that's happening 6 months away, you're not going to need to know a whole lot in 6 months. Does this make sense? Okay. If it don't, it does to me, but y'all ain't done it yet. So once you watch the videos, I do get a little deeper in that. So anyway, that's why, because I tried to have all 12 months in one calendar, and then it got so full I couldn't even close it. Because once you start putting call sheets in there, it takes up too much, and you don't want to be carrying around this big binder that weighs more than you do. So, okay, now, so if she wants to be called every 6 weeks, then I'm going to move her over 6 weeks. So today is November the 9th. And she would go over to ever how many 6 weeks is January. Let's just say January the 15th. And days are important. Okay. 6 weeks from today, whatever that is, let's just say January the 15th, because you don't want to just stick it over in January, because then you're going to wake up one day in January and you're going to have all this work and you're going to be overwhelmed. It's just like getting your PCP call list. You're overwhelmed when you see 100 customers or 200 or 500, whatever it is you have on your list. You're overwhelmed when you go, oh my gosh, I need to call all these people. But see, what this creates is daily things to do. So in 6 weeks from November the 9th, January the 15th, I'll wake up to, I called Liz on January the 15th. Okay, so let's just say I gave Susan Finley a coupon and some samples. I'm going to have just whatever, a blank piece of paper maybe, or whatever, sticky note that would go on that I want to follow up with her. She can't use it tomorrow, but she's going to use it Thursday. So on Friday, I'm going to have a sticky note that says call Susan Kill Finley. And I gave her just some notes of what you gave her, because you might give different samples of stuff. Okay. I usually give skincare and microdermabrasion, but sometimes I give color looks. So I need to know what I gave her, so I don't call her and say, well, now what was it I gave you? I'm known to do that too. Heck darn, I can't remember what I even give you. But hey, Susan, I want to make sure that you know there's a coupon in there, and that's going to expire on November the 20th. So guess what? After I talk to her, if she wants the coupon, you might make it expire in a week, since you want her to buy that skincare right away. Or it might be 10% off, whatever you want to give. But so I'm going to move her. You might make a courtesy call sheet on her, and I'll move it over. Like this going to expire on the 15th. I'm going to say, hey, you've got 5 more days before your coupon expires. Just wanted to let you know, it's a text, not a call. Not everything is a call, but it's a touch. So I touched her and reminded her a week before her coupon expires. Okay. Then it's the day the coupon expires, because remember, I wrote it on here. And so now the coupon's going to expire on the 20th. Today, I'm going to text her and say, hey, Susan, it's Brenda. Whatever little face I want to send her. Your $10 coupon is expiring today. Hey, I love all the free money I can get, and I'm just going to assume you do. So I didn't want you to lose your $10 in Mary Kay. Just wanted to let you know. And you might have it $10 off $20 purchase, or off the skincare, whatever it is you want to do. So can you see, in her trying the skincare, I've touched her already like 2 to 3 times in just nice little easy ways. Now, honestly, would you care if Kohl's sent you a text and said, hey, Brenda, your coupon is going to expire. I want them to, because it makes me mad when I go and I pull it out in the store and they're like going, oh, that's expired. I'm like, well, dang it. So this is what they're going to think you're awesome. Okay. So this is how I never lose people. Okay. This is how we don't ever want to lose somebody, because she's going to be so in 2 weeks or 6 weeks, when I call her on the 15th, I'm going to call and say, hey, Susan, this is Brenda, your Mary Kay consultant. I was just calling to see what you need to keep yourself looking gorgeous this month. Okay. Or it's her birthday, or it's whatever. So I'm going to do that. And then when I'm done doing that, with whatever next step I've given her, that's where she's going to go in my calendar. Does this make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And what I'd like to do, if it's okay, sorry, I've
No,
got a bump
jump
here.
right in. I'd rather y'all ask me questions.
What I think is, because what you've taught us tonight is really good, because this is your working calendar.
Right.
And some people have used systems where they might have a spiral notebook, and each day they write their 10 people that they're going to call. And then if they didn't reach them, they rewrite them to the next day, or they use a notebook in that way. I've done that before. But what I like about yours is that you have a sheet, and the sheet travels. And you
The sheet
put that
travels,
on
yes.
the day that you're going to call them. So this is the way, because I remember you telling us in the hallway that day, you go, I'm a really good consultant if they call me.
Mhm.
Now, I raise your hand if that describes you on this call, because that's the way I am. If you call me, man, I will have that product to you in an hour, you know, but I do lose people. And when I think over 34 years, how many people have fallen through the cracks because
Mhm.
I didn't have a good system.
Now
love-
there's somebody else's customer, or there's somebody else's consultant, and it's my fault. I mean, it really is.
Right. And I like how real you are with the fact that, yeah, there's technology. And if you have embraced technology, you guys, and you've got your ticklers and your dinging and donging and things that tell you what you need to do, good on you. And I listened to you for 20 minutes, Brenda, and my speech starts to go to the London, Kentucky dialect. And I love it and love you for this. But what I like is that it just moves the sheet moves.
And here's the thing that can happen. Okay. There's been times that Mary Kay's been down, the computer's down, and you can't get to your stuff, or you've lost your phone. And if you're not backed up, there's just lots of things with technology that you could lose everything. But you know what? Unless your house burned down, God forbid, or you wreck your car and somebody steals your stuff while you're in the hospital from your car that's been wrecked. I mean, seriously, this is always going to be with you. Okay. Now, and here's what I love about, gosh, there's so many other things, and I've got to get off here in just
Well,
like
what
5
I was
minutes.
going to suggest, Brenda, is that we do wrap it up and see if anybody has any questions for you in these last
Okay,
few
let me
minutes.
finish this thought. There was
Okay.
a thought there. Okay,
We'll have you
because
back.
the next thing is, what do I do with those 26 items? So if what she doesn't purchase, so if she buys most of them, then our main goal is, I gotta follow up, and she's always going to be in your notebook because she's just traveling every time. Okay, what she doesn't buy that's on that list, and our whole goal is, and I probably talk about it in those videos too, is learning to find out her needs and not what you want to sell her. Okay. Now, there's just things you can talk about in a facial of like, oh my gosh, tell me, it might even be, tell me the things you use. And, you know, there's just some things people love. Okay, let's just say I facial Teresa, and she loves, oh my gosh, I love my Sephora primer. I just don't think I could ever switch from my Sephora primer. I love it. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. If I give you but wait, if I give you a supply, you know, a 2-3 day supply, because I know you love good products, and I am sure Sephora is good, but in my brain I'm saying, but mine is better. I don't say that to her. So if I gave you, Teresa, like 3 or 4 days, would you be willing to give me your opinion of this primer? What I would love for you to do now, once again, in my brain, I'm going to say, I want you to put the right thing on the right side and put the blush on the other side. So, but I'm going to say, would you be willing for 3 or 4 days, maybe use Mary Kay on the right side and use Sephora on the left, and tell me what you think. See what difference you see. And because I want to know if you like it better, that'll be great. But you know, Mary Kay is always open to hearing, you know, our concerns. And so anything that you could report back to me, maybe that theirs does better, then, you know, Mary Kay's always up. They're always revamping our products, and because we want to be the #1 brand. And so, but you never know. You may like mine after you use it. And how much do you say it was? Okay, so theirs is $30. Well, mine is only 20. So you might like it better. You never know. But just tell me how it performs against what you're using. So what I have to start doing is everything she's not buying from me, I need to give her samples. Okay. I get her samples of the 26 items. And you guys, listen, I mean, like, so when she trusts you with these, guess what? Then you're going to retinol, and then you're going to get her on all this other stuff, because that's all icing on the cake. That don't even count in the 40,000, because this is the basic stuff I want to get her on. And so giving her coupons, maybe if she buys, when you're giving her a sample, she might get 10% off or whatever when she makes the purchase. Does this make sense?
It does. And that's why I was going to say, why don't we, since you mainly tonight talked about your notebook and how you move people and how you don't lose them, what if you come back and teach us more about how you then get them on those 26 items? Because you don't just throw 26 samples in her bag. There's a strategy to this over the course of the next year, right?
Yes.
Get her on those things. And I want to hear a lot about that too. This has all been awesome. Does anybody have any quick questions for Brenda? She has her own unit call at 8 o'clock. And she gave us almost an hour of her time to do this. Do you have questions? You can unmute yourself and ask her real quick. Anybody?
No questions, but a great big thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
This has been awesome.
Thanks. And I will say with my poster, okay, now it's just, okay, I am going to tell y'all, don't go reworking this. All these sheets, they may not be pretty. The first thing I bet some of y'all want to do is go, oh, I'd redo it. Do not redo it. I don't care that you redo it. It's just going to take you time, and you ain't got time for that. It might be ugly. It's okay. Work it ugly. And then when you have so many customers and you're not sleeping one night, then you can go recreate this ugly poster, because it is ugly. But here's the deal. So like, I write my customer's name, and I did, like, I can reuse this next year, because see, this is for a year, so you can do national quarter sales. Only 40 customers. You know, you don't even have to facial one person a week. But if you did, that's 52 customers, and you have the chance of doing 52,000. So you could be in the top 20. So, but you're going to put your customers on here. And here was the deal is I put this right at my desk. So when I look over and I'm thinking, you know, you think, oh my gosh, I just talked to Susan Finley like a month ago. And then it's been, okay, I can say this about a consultant in my unit, like my T people, I'll look on my reports and they're T7s. And I'm like, what the heck? I just talked to them last month, but I hadn't. It'd been 11 months and I felt like it just been. Does that make sense? I mean, people, the years just fly by. And so your customers, but now I can look up and think, oh, I've not talked to her in 6 weeks. Oops. But she's in my notebook, but still I having them up there where I see them makes me think of them all the time. And so having that dry erase is I can use this one $13 poster. Okay. Cost me about $13 at Office Depot to get this made. And so, okay. Anybody have a question?
I just want to comment one other thing that I caught in the hallway at French Lick, where you said your office should be a war room.
Yes.
Tell them how you said that it doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah, we want it to be pretty and so fancy. And when it ain't so fancy, because when you see my lives, Like I can have my office clean, but when I do a live, it is like a tornado has went through here. And then I realized, ooh, I can buy these backdrops that look so famous, and so pretty and put together. But, and I will say that, I think that is so important that when there's a lot of stuff around you, if you're doing a live, okay, like, Sherry, am I saying her name right? Yeah. Shelly,
Kelly. Mhm.
whatever, you know who you are. Like, I don't know how you got your background, but that's pretty awesome. It's kind of like blurred out. Is that like a back thingy on your computer? Okay, see how it blurs out and you cannot see? Because here's the thing I do. I'm like dying to sit here and look and see what's on Susan's, because I'm thinking, oh, I could take my pink Cadillac thing that I have sitting over here. I could put some greenery in that. And I am not listening to a thing she says, because that's what an eye does. And then what happens? Oh my gosh, Teresa pops over here and now I got somebody else's stuff to look at. But you see, so when you do lives with your customers, be somewhere where there's not a lot of stuff, because when there's a lot of noise behind you, people really aren't paying attention. Okay. And so, I mean, it's okay for people to know you're real, like when my grandkids come in, and anywho. So anyway, you all make notes of what you want me to talk about, because whatever you just said to me, I forgot what you said.
How to get them on those 26 items. We'll talk
Okay,
more
you
about
said
that.
something really war room. Yeah, my office being a
room.
war room. Honestly, I think I'm to the point now that I think everything has to be blown up and it has to be big. Like, okay, last thing, I swear I'm gonna go. But like if you're working on 100 faces, this had to be big, laminated. So when my 100 faces is done, I can just wash it off and start again. And I don't have to go take time to go have another one printed, laminate everything, use dry erase. But 100 faces in 90 days, that's your goal. Because here's one thing I found about this too. One day I asked somebody, he's like, oh my gosh, would you be a model for me in my model portfolio? Because I had this model portfolio.
Is this your funny model story
Do
about
what?
going through McDonald's, or you called her about
Oh
being a
guys,
model?
that is a long story.
Okay,
We'll
like
say-
we'll have
remind
you
me
back
that next
after that to tell all the funny stories
I
over your
forgot
30
about
years.
that one.
Mhm.
So you remind me of that, but I do have a model board. Remind me to tell that story next week, because I don't have time right now. But that's my brain right now. Like, what was you telling? Model portfolio. Where
You
was I
said
going
something
with
about
that?
your models. You're just talking about.
Oh yeah, okay.
was
So I
good.
asked somebody to be a model for me, and she was older, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I am not model material. I could not do that." And I was like, "Well, hey, I need 100 faces. Will you just be a face for me? I got to do 100 faces and get 100 different women's. I always break it down into 10 a week." But she was like, "Well, I can do that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just need for you to come and try Mary Kay." Then when she got here, guess what? They let me do a picture and they even liked it. And I was like, now, if you allow me, I never post pictures on Facebook without people's permission. So I'll do the before, because never do their before picture, because they forget what they look like. I got a whole training on that. So, okay, I got to go. Y'all write down everything you want to know to keep me on track, because you can see my brain goes everywhere. All right.
I think you're my sister from another mother. I swear. I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, Brenda, you just described me. So
Okay.
thank you
Okay.
so much. We love you.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love y'all. Vote for me for Miss Go Get.
We will. That's 1-800-MISS Go Give.
I'm running for president. All right.
Bye,
All right. I
Brenda.
love you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Brenda.
Bye. Bye, everybody. I'll post her things on Facebook. Okay.
All right. It might
Bye.
make more sense.
Okie dokie. Bye now.
See ya. Bye-bye.